In this video, we're talking about the game phases of Cthulhu, a deck building game. The first phase we'll be talking about is the planning phase. The planning phase is divided up into different sections. The first section is in the planning phase is first you fill your Miskatonic University. And you do this by drawing the top 5 cards from the library deck and laying them across in reach of all players. This is the area in which you're going to buy and research cards that you'll be able to use. Then each investigator will draw 5 cards from their personal library. This is your hand. So in this case I actually got a very good draw because I only got 1 stagger card and I've got 4 sleuth cards. The sleuth card allows you to gain 1 moxie. You use moxie as your only resource in the game. It's used to both research stuff at the library, and it's also used later in combat to do damage to the bad guys. You also can use moxie to heal. So now that I've drawn my hand, if you're playing with other investigators, everybody's done everything that we've done so far as a group, and then each investigator in the order in which you choose, you can choose in any turn order you want because you're working cooperatively to fight the elder gods. You can choose amongst you what investigator should go first based on what you see in the university, or maybe if they have some special powers where they get to do things like peek at the Mythos deck, or other abilities that may make sense for them to go first. It's really up to the party makeup, depending on who you want to go first. Seeing that we're playing a 1-player game, we're going to choose obviously go first. So what you do during this phase of the game is you start with doing preparation. Preparation, what you do is you activate cards from your hand for moxie that you want to use. So I know that I get spells because of my special ability. I get spells cost 3 less moxie to buy from the university to a minimum of 1. So we do have 2 spells out here. We have the Minor Illusion, which is a cost of 2, so it'll be a cost for 1 for me. And we have this Protective Sigil, which costs 6, so it would be a cost of 3 for me. I really like this Protective Sigil because all investigators are immune to health loss this round. I think that would be an extremely useful thing to have, and I seem to have enough to buy it. So what I'm going to do in the preparation phase is I'm going to activate 3 sleuth cards by laying them out just in front of my investigator card, indicating that I now have available to me 3 moxie that I can use in my research phase. So now we're going to move on to the research phase as part of the planning, my particular planning phase, where I can use moxie that I've activated, not the one that's in my hand. I can use the moxie that I activated to purchase cards. So when you actually use the moxie, you're going to want to create a discard pile, and I use the right hand side of my with the cards face up as my discard pile, and then I get to purchase this one for 3, and it goes into your hand, right? So that means that you cannot, if this particular card granted you additional moxie, for example, you can't use it to buy other cards because you have to activate the cards in the preparation phase before the research phase. Then the last thing you get to do is a final preparation, which is the final phase of the planning phase for each player. And during the final preparation, what you want to do is you want to activate cards that are defensive in nature. So I'm going to actually activate Protective Sigil so that I can be immune to health loss this round. I do not want to activate this Sleuth card because I would gain Moxie. Any Moxie that you do not use, any Moxie that you activate and don't use gets lost between phases. So this phase of the game is the planning phase. So if I would activate this now during the final preparation, it would have to get discarded as we moved into the combat. So I'm going to hold that card in my hand so that I can use it during the combat phase. Once a player, an investigator, has finished and he's finished purchasing, the library gets refilled back up to 5. Now, if we had another player, another investigator playing, they would now at this point start doing their preparation, their research, final preparation, and refilling the library. And once all investigators have completed their preparation and planning, you then move on to the combat phase. In the combat phase, there is an order of operation that's very important. The first thing that happens is the Elder God goes, because he's the Elder God. So let's see what this Elder God does. Nyarlathotep each round summons 2 randomly chosen minions. So, in a way to execute this is you can take a representative card from each stack in your minions. Which I'm doing now. And each Elder God does slightly different things. So this particular one is a lot of times the Elder Gods have minions that are special to them. So I'm going to take all the minions that I took 1 minion card from each one, and I'm randomizing it. And I'm going to do that guy. And we're going to do this guy. So the things that got spawned was an incorporeal demon and 1,000 young. So we'll put them right here for now. Okay. All right, the next thing to go after the Elder God goes is the Mythos deck gets played. Now remember, if you're playing on Cthulhu mode, you actually would draw potentially multiple Mythos cards. Same thing with the Elder Gods. If you're playing in Cthulhu mode, you would actually have potentially 2 or maybe even 3 Elder Gods out at the exact same time. So all the Elder Gods will go in the order of lowest health to highest health, and then the Mythos goes. So we're playing normal mode, so we're only going to draw the first card, which is, oh no, we get to spawn Icy Tarantulas. If Atlock not is active, spawn IC +2 instead. So luckily we do not have Atlock out, so we're only going to spawn 1 Tarantula. So we can go into our box and find our tarantulas. And because we have it all nicely subdivided in our box, it's very quick, easy reference to find the tarantulas and pull them out. Okay, so now that the Mythos has gone, now the minions go. So the minions activate from lowest health to highest health. In this case, we have 2 that are health of 4, so it doesn't matter which one goes first. You, the players, get to choose. So we're going to choose to have the tarantulas go first. So it says deal IC -2. So remember, there's a minimum of 1 rule. So deal 1 health damage to each investigator. At the end of every combat round, if the tarantula is still alive, spawn another one. So we want to make sure that we kill this guy off, because we'll continue to get more and more tarantulas. However, the health damage he did to us, because we have the protective sigil out, does nothing. Next we have the incorporeal demon. Deal 1 health 1 health damage to each investigator, and if still alive during the planning, reduce the number of cards drawn by 1. Wow, so that's really bad. So we definitely want to get rid of this guy so that we can continue to have our full hand. So we got a problem, because we're not going to be able to kill all those things. And then we have 1,000 young. 1,000 young. Each young allows for 1 extra card to be dealt from the mythos each turn. So that power goes off right now, which means we get to draw an extra card from the mythos deck. And this one is capsize. Each investigator takes IC health damage and destroys 1 random card from their hand. Oh no. So I'm not going to take the health damage, because again, luckily I have a protective sigil, but I am going to lose, and this indicates destroys 1 random card from their hand. So when a card says destroy, it is actually not discarded, it's actually removed from play. So I'm going to choose randomly from my 2 cards in my hand, hopefully I get the right one, to destroy this one. Yes! This is why I did not discard or activate my stagger card, because there are cards in the game that cause you to destroy cards from your hand. So luckily, we're actually just getting rid of this dead card. So that actually benefited us, strangely enough. So now that the minions have all gone, it is now the investigator's turn. Being that I only have 1 card left in my hand, and it only gives me 1 moxie. So what I can do at this point is I activate cards from my hand to gain the moxie that it's indicated, and I use that moxie to try to hurt the elder gods or the minions, depending on who you want to concentrate on. There's some strategy here as to which way you may want to go with that. But it's completely as a collaborative game with your fellow investigators, what you should do. So I'm going to get a counter here, and I'm going to put the damage, I think, on, oh man, I think I'm going to just go, I'm gonna say be damned, let's go after the big guy. So he's going to go down actually to 36. It's because he's starting at 40. So I'm thinking, so I indicate that by putting the sliders on like this, indicating 36. And I can put my, leave my marker out here so everybody remembers what his health is at. You could also use those to indicate your health of the minions. There are several of those markers in the card, in the deck. So my strategy is I'm going to try to knock out the Elder God, because once you defeat the Elder God, you win the game. So my strategy is to try to defeat him before all the minions overrun me and take me out. Alright, so now I'm done with my combat phase. The next phase is going to be the cleanup. During cleanup, you discard any activated cards you have. You may look at the library and remove any cards from here that you don't feel is beneficial to you, so that we can refill it at the start of the planning phase. So I'm actually going to get rid of the brass knuckles, because that costs 2 and I only get to add 1 moxie. This might be good for another type of player because of some some investigators do really well with equipment cards. So I'm actually going to discard those, and we'll keep the rest. So that ends a complete round of Cthulhu, a deck building game. At this point, you've seen all the mechanics there is to know. You then go back through the game phases, starting back at the planning phase. First phase being to refill the library, and then each player draws 5 cards. If you run out of cards in your deck, you take your discard pile, you shuffle them up, and you make a new deck. This is what makes this a card building game, or a deck building game. My bad. Is that you become more powerful as the game progresses. So unfortunately, I'm going to have a very poor hand this time because I'm going to have 2 stagger cards and 3 sleuth, and I'm also not going to have the protection of the protective sigil. So now we're back into the preparation phase. So at this point, I would try to buy something. So I think I'm definitely going to buy both of these cards. So I'm going to activate these 2 cards in my preparation phase, holding back this one in my hand. Now I'm in the research phase, so I'm going to spend this spell, because on my special ability, goes down to a cost of 1, and it's Psychic Scream, which gives me, I gain 3 Moxie, but I lose 3 Sanity. Spells typically have a negative effect as well as a positive effect. And I'm going to spend this 1 to purchase Minor Illusion, which allows me to gain 3 Moxie but lose 1 Sanity. And then I am done with my research, so I'm going to now do my final preparation. I do not have any defensive cards, so I'm actually not going to activate any additional cards, so I can save these for combat. So now we're back into, once, obviously if there were other players, they would do those steps. At the end of each investigator, you refill the library. If there was another investigator, they would then do their preparation, their research, final preparation, and then refill. But since we're by ourselves, we're just doing a 1-player game, we move back into the combat. So, alright, Narlatep, his turn again. Oh boy, we get randomly chosen minion, 2 of them. We're going to get a Murgle. We're going to get a Star Spawn. Man, we are in a world of hurt. I don't know if we're going to be able to survive this. Next, we have the Mythos go. Oh no. Vampiric Embrace. The Elder God deals 1 health damage to each investigator. The Elder God is healed for damage inflicted in this manner. Great. So we take a health damage. So I'm going to take my slider and move it from 20 down to 19. And unfortunately, because of what that card does, the Elder God gains back a health. Alright, now it is the minion's turn. If you remember, it's from lowest health to highest health. So we'll start with the Tarantulas. He's going to do 1 health damage. Oh, crap. And he spawned another one of these. And you know what? I forgot to do this. But during the planning phase, I could have only drawn 4 cards instead of 5. I'm not going to recon that, but we'll remember that next time. But the reason we got another Tarantula is at the end of every combat round, the Tarantula's still alive, so this would have spawned at the end of last combat. So he deals 1 health damage. Each one does, so that's 2 health damage from the Tarantulas. We have the Star Spawn. Deals investigator with he does the star spawn deals each investigator with IC -2, so 1 sanity damage. If 4 star spawn become active, an additional elder god becomes active. So let's not let that happen. So we're going to take 1 sanity damage by moving our slider down. The incorporeal demon, we do 1 health damage. The Murgols, we take IC -2 sanity damage. Oh yeah, this one's new. Gives each investigator the sense of being drowned. Take IC -2, so 1 sanity damage each round. So another sanity damage. And then the 1,000 Young deals an extra Mythos card. Great. Oh great. Deja Vu. Deal in each investigator with 1 sanity loss and draw the next Mythos card. So we're going to take another sanity and we're going to deal another Mythos card. Each investigator receives IC -1, so 1 sanity loss. So, alright, another sanity damage. So currently I'm at 16 health and 36 sanity. So I'm not doing too great. I may consider healing, and healing can be done during the planning phase, where you can, as all characters have the ability to heal, and what you do is you spend 2 moxie to heal 1 point of either health or sanity, your choice. There are investigators in the game, like the doctor, the priest, the psychiatrist, which can do better at healing of either health or sanity. But unfortunately we do not have. I have our glass cannon here of our magician. Okay, so where were we? So the minions just went. Oh great, investigators get to go. So go back to my hand, and I'm going to activate. I'm going to activate Sleuth, which is 1. I'm going to activate Psychic Scream, which gains 3, so that's 4, but I also lose 3 sanity. And I'm going to activate Minor Illusion, which gains another 3, so that's 7 moxie total, but I lose 4 sanity. So I'm down to 32. So I'm going to use all that moxie to hurt Gnarlatep. So he's going to go down to 30 hit points. And I'll discard my activated cards. We're now in the cleanup phase, so I'll also discard my hand. I'll see if there's any cards I want to get rid of up here. I really need some more spells to come out, so I really think I might I really want body armor because that protects from health loss. That one's really good, but I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna keep the library and get rid of that. And sure, let's get rid of the gun range. And now we're back at the top of the planning phase again. So, you've seen 2 complete rounds of the game being played. Gameplay will continue until either the minions overrun me, which looks like might what happened, or we kill the Elder God. If you happen to die and you have more than 1 player playing, there is an after death effect, and usually the after death effect allows you to bestow your special ability to someone else, but sometimes they're slightly different things. For the magician, for example, he's taught his fellow investigators just a kind of magic. Yes, Queen reference. Spell cards cost 1 less moxie on for all investigators, so that's really good. So the after death effect is just something to try to keep you engaged, to help your fellow investigators win the ending battle. If in case you do have death of a character, which is going to happen, you still count as a player as far as the investigator count is concerned. So the investigator count does not go down when someone dies. That the original count as started with the game is what stays. These are the basics of Cthulhu, a deck building game. You can check out our website our FAQ section, we have some things up there, some rules clarification, some different things like that you may want to check out if you get confused. There's obviously a lot of different combinations that can happen. Sometimes some of the things that may come out may seem overpowered, but a lot of times you'll get something in your favor that is overpowered to combat it. It looks like I'm being completely overrun, but if something comes out of that deck, say like the Necronomicon, there's a very good chance that I could actually come back from this overwhelming odds and actually win this game. But thanks for checking out Cthulhu, a deck building game. I know this was a little bit long video to learn how to play, but I hope you enjoy the game and let us know how you like it. Thanks.